All right. And we should be going. The video is starting. Hey, Truffles, what time is it today? It's 6. All right. So what is it? It's time for songs and stories for hard-hitting times? I know. And your favorite song, what do you like to start with? Oh, it's The Hills of Old Vermont. Well, let's see. All right, let's see. I'm remembering the days before I went away, way back in the hills of old Vermont. And the orchard on the hill, I think I see it still, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. There used to be a barn near the old fishing pond, way back in the hills of old Vermont. So many fields of hay now gone with yesterday, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Well, everything has changed, nothing stays the same, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Like the old brown panther's roar, you won't hear that no more, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. But when the great floods came, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons and the blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Hi, this is Rik Palieri here in the hills of old Vermont, and there's things that are popping up on my screen that's making me very nervous all the time. So I hope that you folks are there, and I hope you can enjoy it. Okay, Jamie Johnson is here, and looks good, sounds good, and Bobby Forrest watching from the mountains of Oregon, waiting for snow. All right, well, it's good to see you all. I'm back here on Facebook Live because I was having trouble with the YouTube channel, and there's still something kind of funky going on with the setup that I have. So if it's not coming in perfect, let me know. But yeah, here we are again, and I'm glad to be with you. As a lot of people know, it's been a hard couple of days. Here in the folk community, we've lost a lot of good folks have passed on. It started with Scott Alaric. He passed on, and then before you know it, Bill Staines passed on, and then I just got news. I got news that my friend Jan Jan had passed away over in Poland. And we're going to talk a little bit about Jan and why he was so important to me. It's never easy. I know that all of you folks know what I'm talking about. Right now, the COVID cases are rising all over the place. One of the reasons that I started doing this show a long a long while ago was to try to keep people's spirits up in the middle of this pandemic, and that's what I try to do. But I also have to be realistic about what's going on, and I think that a lot of us are kind of feeling that we're not really sure what in the world is going on anymore. I know that that's the way that I feel. Here in Vermont, we were, and I said this last time, we were one of the safest states in the United States. Highest, vaccination rate. Everybody did the right thing, and not everybody. Though that's the problem. According to the governor, who was on the radio today, not everybody did the right thing, and a lot of the people that are now in the hospital, in the ICUs, are people who didn't get a vaccination, and so that's part of the problem. Not all of the problem, but certainly part of the problem. I just talked with a friend over in Phoenix, Arizona, who was talking about, well, over there, a lot of people pretend that nothing's going on. Nobody's wearing any mask. Everything's open. Everything's, but then the cases are going high. They're going high all over the place. And as we're moving indoors, it's getting to be even more difficult because, the chances of this virus spreading around is a lot higher. So I know that everybody's tired of this. I mean, we don't want to talk about this the whole time because if you get your vaccination, you get your booster shot. At this point, that's about as much as you can do, right? That's what I've done and what Mariana's done. And I know that some of you folks out there, Barry's here and he says hello. And Jonathan Crocker says, evening, Rick. It's good to see you folks. I have to move the screen around in order to see you. And it's kind of fun to be able to just enjoy being with my friends, even if it's virtually. I mean, because that's sort of like where we're at right now. Where I'm at is I'm getting more and more with the idea that a lot of my work is going to be done online or in TV studios or things like that. One of the good things is my TV show, The Songwriter's Notebook, is going to be broadcast again. I'm going to go back into the studio and do a show. And we're going to also broadcast some of the old shows. The ones that you haven't seen in a long time are going to be coming on the air again. And so some of those, and I'll make sure that I post it so you can see some of those great old shows because they're a lot of fun. One that I'm going to be coming up, the first one we're going to start with is when my show became part of the Library of Congress in 2009. I went down to the Library of Congress and interviewed Jennifer Cutting about the library, and so I made a show about that, about the importance of the work of the Library of Congress. So that's the first show that we're going to show. And then the next show will be with my old friend Gareth Hedges, because Gareth is the reason that I started doing the show in the first place. Years ago, we were on tour over in England, and we got onto the BBC TV. And it was a big deal, getting on BBC was kind of cool. And so he was going to do a tour with me here in the United States, and I wanted to reciprocate. And so I was trying to figure out how to get him on TV. And I found out that it wasn't that easy at that time, but I could get him on community access TV. And so I went there with this whole idea of getting this one show. And it was VCAM at that time, they're now called the Media Factory, said, boy, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't you make a series? And so that's what I did. That was back in 1999 was when I started the program. And since then, I've had tons of performers. Uh, you, a lot of people that you know, and a lot of people that you haven't met yet. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are no longer with us. And that's one of the reasons that it's really great to be in the Library of Congress is even when I'm gone, those shows will live on. And so a lot of the people that I interviewed, a lot of the old hobos that I went into the boxcars and interviewed, they're all gone now. But they will live on in the halls of the American Folklife Center. And so maybe 100, 200 years from now, people can go over there and give a listen. And so I was thinking about, all these people passing away, and I've sang this song before, but, I guess it's one of those things when you write a song, it has a life of its own. And I first wrote this song on Mariana's mother's birthday. She was turning 80 at the time. And she went out to a tree nursery and they brought home a linden tree. She was with her sister Heidi, They all went out to the store and brought home this little tree. And so we dug a hole in the yard and we planted that tree as a family. And then a little later in the day, there was a party at the house, and all of her friends gathered round, and she made a little statement, as Crystal Holzer would. She said, while my family and friends are gathered round, I want to declare my wishes. She said, when my time comes, I want you to take this tired old body and cremate it. And then throw my ashes right here on this linden tree. And maybe, in a way, we'll be able to keep on growing together. So I wrote the song and sang it for her. She loved the song, And I've sang it for a lot of people. And then a lot of people have asked to use the song at funerals to remember people by planting trees. It's an old tradition, People would plant trees in memory of people. They'd plant them also for celebrations of new babies and new houses. So I decided that I would write this song, and here it goes. When it's time to leave this earth, give my ashes to the dirt, dig a hole on a mountainside and plant a tree with me inside. Plant a tree, plant a tree, plant a tree and think of me. I'll be standing by your side. Plant a tree, I'll never die. Shower me with sun and rain till my roots start to grow again. You won't miss me when I'm gone, no. I'll be with you all year long. I'll be there in the winter, I'll be there in the spring, from the first snowfall till the robins sing, through the hazy days of summer until the last leaf falls. I'll keep on growing true and tall. Plant a tree, plant a tree, plant a tree and think of me. I'll be standing by your side. Plant a tree, I'll never die. When your children sing and play, let them through my branches sway. Jump and roll in autumn's leaves, carve their names for all to see. Plant a tree, plant a tree, plant a tree, and think of me. I'll be standing by your side. Plant a tree, I'll never die. Years will come and the years will go till I'm so old I cannot grow. Then chop me up for wood to burn, but save a seed so I may return. Plant a tree, plant a tree, plant a tree, and think of me. I'll be standing by your side. Plant a tree, I'll never die. Plant a tree, plant a tree, plant a tree, and think of me. I'll be standing by your side, and we'll keep reaching for the sky. So I send that out to all the folks that are dealing with this right now, feeling this way. Tom Palieri says, remember you playing this at your grandmother's funeral? Yes, I have. And Bill, good to see you. Perez, good evening, Rick. Plant a tree, plant a tree. Well, it's good to see all you folks chiming in. That's what we're here together for. And I wanted to honor my friend Jan with this melody on an ocarina. I don't know if anybody here plays ocarina, but it's a really beautiful instrument. This is a really old one that I got. This one was made in Austria, and it's painted all these bright colors because when I was doing school shows years ago, the kids would keep knocking it off the table and I had to keep gluing it back together again. And so I painted it these bright colors so that you could see it, so they wouldn't knock it off the table. I learned how to play the ocarina when I lived in Poland, when I was living with Yusuf Roda in Istebna. And I mean, a lot of the instruments that I learned when I was in Poland, I had no experience with a lot of wind instruments like that. I went there to learn how to play Polish bagpipes, which, Mariana asked if I was going to play the pipes today, and there's just not enough room down here to do that. I'll do it. I'll figure out how to do it one of the shows, but it's going to take a little bit because they're loud and you need a lot of space. And I keep getting this little message that's really annoying. It says, too low FPS, whatever that means. And that's one of the things I'm dealing with, my FPS. I don't know. So if you want to play the ocarina, okay, if you got one like this, you can see there's holes all over. The story of the ocarina, supposedly, I mean, the clay ocarina goes back to, ancient times. Many different countries play the kind of the circular one. But this style, this ocarina, supposedly came from near Bologna, Italy. And there was a musician who was having a dinner party. And he had, one of the things that he wanted to do was to do something for his friends. So while his friends were all watching, he got some clay, and he made this shape of the ocarina. It's called a little goose in Italian, a little goose. And you can see they come in all different sizes, and there's still a society for the ocarina in Bologna, Italy. And so it is a really interesting instrument. So you're putting your fingers. Oh, you can see it here. You have holes there, back here. So you have to cover your thumb over here, and this thumb this way. So your hands are two different ways. All right, and then you put your hands like this and cover those holes, and then you blow into it. And there's sort of like a scale, okay? And so let's see if we can remember this song that I wanted to sing or play for Jan. Gdyby się tej groniczku a swój kap kiem niżył, to byś moja mnużeczki zły potem jem do mnie. Haj, haj, zły potem jem do mnie. Haj, haj, zły potem jem do mnie. It's a song about in life there is no shortcuts. It's one of the most beautiful melodies that I learned over in Istebna, Poland. And I play it on a lot of different instruments, but it sounds the best on the ocarina. So I thought I would read you a tiny bit of a story from my book here, Banjo Man Adventures of an American Folksinger, and pay homage to my friend Jan. And I'm going to try to pick it up. Okay. This is after I had just started making trips back to Poland again. I hadn't been there for a long time, but then my friend Tom Osentowski, who's also a Polish bagpiper, it's been him and Monica and their daughter Mariana are very close friends of ours. And Tom was going over to Poland and met with Jan. And he said, "You got to meet this guy. He's just an incredible person." And so one year I went over and met him, and then I was invited to come to a big Polish bagpipe festival. Now the thing that's really interesting, folks, is that when I went to Poland back in 1984 to learn how to play the pipes, it was dying out. There were only a few people left who could really play them. It was not a lot of people. And because of Jan and his area over in Zbunchen, I didn't go there at that time. But this is the area that's so rich in folk culture, and especially the bagpipe. And Jan has been running a festival over there, the Polish Bagpipe Festival, and it is really quite an amazing thing. So I'm going to pick it up there. that here I am going back to Poland again. Uh, it did not take me long to plan another trip to Poland, and by 2016 I was back. This time it would not be to Stebna, but to Zbunchen in the north of Poland, where they held a bagpipe festival called the Festival Dud Polacki, and basically the Polish Bagpipe Festival. I learned about this event from my friend Tom Osentowski. It was amazing even to think of the idea of a Polish bagpipe festival. When I was learning about the instrument, it was dying out. Information was so scarce that every bit I could find was important. Even just a photo of a piper on an old postcard was treated like a treasure. Now, with the power of the internet, it is easy to find information about the pipes and even to watch videos of bagpipe events. There's even a small Polish bagpipe revival going on with many young players from a variety of regions playing this instrument. One of the main reasons for this revival was the folk music school in the city of Zbunchen, run by noted pipers like Tomasz Śliwa and master piper and teacher Jan Przydadka. Jan and his wife worked hard to promote his regional bagpipes, as well as all the bagpipes of Poland. Remember, there are at least 6 different types of Polish bagpipes. After reading about Jan and his wife, seeing so many photos and videos of this festival, I knew I just had to meet them in person. I could not get there during the festival, but I felt that it was important to meet. So the next time I was in Berlin, I took a short train ride to pay them a visit. Jan and his wife were very welcoming and drove me around Zbunchen, showed me the music school, and visited the folk museum, and did a regional TV show, met the mayor, and after this whirlwind day, I got an invitation to come back next year to the Bagpipe Festival. The next year, I planned another European tour. I worked on a time to attend the festival. When I finally arrived in town for the festival, what I saw was amazing. It was something out of a dream that up until this moment I had only been a fantasy. There I saw, all in one room, Polish bagpipes from all over Poland. I was surprised to see how many young people, both men and women, were now interested in the pipes. While waiting to do the first show in the old church, who walked in the room but Zbyszek Wacha, one of the friends from Stebna, along with his folk band. Zbyszek was not only happy to see me, but he was equally happy that I brought my Gaida bagpipe, the first bagpipe he had ever made. In 1985, Zbyszek hunted and scrounged up the materials, which were near to impossible to find during the hard times of communism. But somehow he found the right wood, brass, leather, and together with his friend, Józef Kowulak, put them all together to make this very special bagpipes as a going-away present for me. In America, England, Scotland, Canada, and Australia, I played that pipe in all my school shows, festivals, and concerts. It was easy to see that my pipes had taken quite a beating from all those tours. The leather bellows leaked and hissed air. The drone pipe had been broken and patched. The cow horn bells at the bottom of the long drone pipe were coming loose. It was a royal mess. It would still play, but it was in dire need of repair. At the concert, we all paraded into a church in the full folk regalia. There were bagpipers from the mountains of Zakopane, from Poznań, from Stebna, from Zbunchen, from Żywiec. Among the pipes from the region of Zbunchen are 2, one for a wedding and one for the pre-wedding. So that one has a black leather bag. And the other one is a big white goat, which is what the festival is famous for, the Festival of the Goat. When it came time to perform, I stepped onto the stage and tried to play my old pipes. Just as I feared, they did not work. To top it off, the drone horn bell disconnected. I looked out at Zbyszek, and I asked him if I could use his bagpipes, his gaida. Zbyszek handed me his new set of Stebna bagpipes, and I started pumping up the bellows. There was a bit of silence in the church as the big skin bag filled with air, and oh, what a sound they made. It was almost as if the pipes were playing the tunes and the songs by themselves. The sound was fantastic. Zbyszek smiled as I played the songs that both he and many of his community had taught me. I was so thrilled to be able to play with so little effort that they sounded so good. The following days were filled with more performances and lots of time to make new friends with all the pipers. I had also bought another set of pipes to be repaired that were from this region of the White Goat. Jan had arranged for two of the best pipe builders to do the repair job while I was at the festival. As promised, another old set of my pipes were restored and would play again. On the final day, we began in another church performance and then headed out for a huge parade through the city streets. It brought a tear to my eye to see all the pipers who are now carrying on this proud tradition. We had an evening concert with all the pipers, followed by an awards ceremony. Tom and I were given awards for our performances and joined the other pipers for some final photos. At the end of the festival, Zbyszek looked over at my Gaida pipes and agreed that he would take it back home to do the needed repairs. Knowing that my Gaida would be heading back to Estebna, I felt that perhaps now I could keep my promise and soon be playing my pipes again. If it wasn't for Jan, that never would have happened. He was responsible, not just for a few, but for so many young people he taught at the school. He loved the bagpipes so much. You could feel his love for the instrument as he played it with all the children's groups that he led. I'm sure that it's a sad time in Zbunchen right now as we remember our friend Jan. I feel honored that I had the chance to be with him and meet his friends, and he left us way too soon. I'm kind of emotional. I don't have much to say. I was standing, I can't even remember it. You can sing it with me. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw the hearse come rolling to carry my good friend away. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. So long, Jan. So long, Bill Staines. So long, Scott Ellerick. Be well. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.